Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California is home to the Area Truck Series playoffs, round 3 of 5. Last week we eliminated 4 of our 12 championship competitors. Now there's only 8 remaining in the battle for the championship. Just 2 races remain in the 2023 season. And after last night's race here at Fontana, Finian, things got pretty wild in the Area Cup Series. I think we'd expect more of the same in tonight's 90-lap race from Fontana. Kyle Heyer joined by Finian D'Cunha. Finian, welcome aboard. The skies are sunny here in California. Great day for racing. About 30 trucks getting set to go for 90 laps in round 1 of 2 in the round of 8.
Yeah, saying things crazy last night's honestly an understatement. That finish was absolutely spectacular. I'm kind of hoping we see something as exciting as that. Maybe not as crazy as last night. I'm sure there'll definitely be a lot of disappointed drivers if we see anything like what happened last night with several championship competitors being involved. And speaking of the championship competitors, let's go through them here. Our top 8 going into tonight.
Here's a look. David Weishart is at the top of the Truck Series standings here for the round of 8. Ryan Hartz is 22 points clear of the cut line. Then it's Travis Beckner and Brad Slaughter that put themselves in position, but Brad Slaughter only has 1 point over Matthew Bell on that 4th place cut line. Then it's Jordan Hurley, Garrett Grant, and Eric Wineland. Now, notably, the drivers that were eliminated last week included Cameron Hearn, James Scioli, Ryan Swan, and Justin Azogak. Cameron Hearn especially, that was the controversial one last week, Finian, after the post-race fiasco. Got himself eliminated by essentially 1 point. Behind Eric Wineland. So that was all it took to eliminate one of the fastest drivers on the season, and Scioli is out as well. So those are your top 8, and the 4 in the blue are the ones that remain.
Yeah, so maybe it was taken out last week, and I'm curious to see how it's going to line up. You know, we were talking about it last night as well. For these guys, the guys on the outside looking in, they need to start getting good points tonight. They can't rely on next week at Richmond, because Richmond, you can find yourself taken out in something pretty easily next week. So you're definitely going to want to make up as many points as humanly possible. Taking a look at the team standings, Jacob L Racing, you can see leading with quite a few wins to their names. David Weishart Racing, yet to get a win in this series, still trying to pursue JBR in 2nd place in points with Sci-Fi Racing, IRLC Motorsports, and 5ID Sports rounding out your top 5.
Fontana, California, home to about 250,000 people here. This track was constructed back in 1996, one of the newer tracks on the NASCAR calendar, and it's quickly going to be demolished to create a short track. This track was actually featured in the Pixar film Cars as Los Angeles Motor Speedway or something of the sort, and modified version of it, of course, some kind of a mix between Michigan and Fontana. That was what they used in the movie Cars.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was interesting because you can see the representation afterwards, but it's bizarre when you think about it, too, because in the movie, it was like Bristol, where there was grandstands all around the track, and could you imagine the seating capacity if they had grandstands all around a 2-mile track?
I mean, in their defense, cars occupy a little bit more space than people, so it would be a little different, but I always thought that was an interesting factor. Then the Dover-Bristol combination, that was the Motor Speedway of the South, which was the opening credits racetrack. We actually watched that on the Big TV Grid Life offices today. We weren't paying attention to it, we were just playing in the background. But, there's a look at your playoff competitors, and it looks like 7 of your 8 drivers are currently in the top 15. As far as the standings go, the ones that are lit up in blue are obviously your playoff drivers. And a pretty good look at everyone who's in there right now. Who's missing from that list?
Garrett Grant currently sitting in P20 in the 46 machine, not doing too particularly hot in practice, which again, nothing really too concerned about. Obviously, no points given off for practice or even qualifying for that matter, but it's really your race pace that's going to matter. So we'll see if he's has anything to show. And, you know, talking about last night, Gabriel Ellison came in very late into practice, only put, I think, 6 laps before qualifying shifted over. Qualified P10, and I think he finished 7th in the night. So did really good despite not doing too hot in practice. So hopefully for the 46 case, he's going to show us really what he's made of when it comes to race time.
Ryan Hartz is the fastest driver on the racetrack at the moment. Runs a 40.440. Jordan Hurley up in the mix inside the top 5 here. The area track record was a 41.360. We've smashed that already in practice. We'll see how much further it falls here in qualifying. Previous winners, Chris Seidenfeld and Blake Giglio, your previous winners here at this racetrack. And we'll see if Brad Slaughter can maybe get the job done today. If anybody wins, anybody in the playoffs wins this race, they're going to lock themselves in to the season finale at Nashville.
Yeah, that is if a playoff driver wins it. Although so far, pretty much a playoff driver has won every single one of the playoff races we've had. I think if I'm recalling that correctly, we'll see that remains the case. David Weissart, of course, leading in by a comfortable margin, 32 points. I'm sure he's very happy with the performance he has in this series compared to the Cup Series, because not doing too hot in those standings. But I'm sure he's going to go for a decent night. Nothing, no funny business, nothing going wrong for him, because he could definitely use it.
Yeah, he was one of the drivers that was caught a couple laps down last night and was never really able to fully recover after that. A lot of green flag racing last night, which was great to see. Some really intense 3, 4, and 5 wide on the restarts, though, and some pit road penalties for some. This is a racetrack where you can really charge that pit lane entry, Finian, but it's going to burn you like it did the 0-0 in the background, as you can see him barrel rolling.
I've seen a lot of guys nail the pit road wall for some reason. I'm not sure that's because they're trying to aim for it in practice, or if they're actually legitimately trying to get into pit lane and then overshooting it. It is a little tricky in some ways coming down a pit lane, just because they're carrying so much speed off at turn 4, and if you miscalculate where your braking point is, you can definitely overshoot and get some speeding penalties. We did also see a lot of guys overshoot their pit stall coming in after the end of a run, just completely miscalculating how much braking pressure they need, how early they need to brake into their stalls. So that was another thing to account for.
So Ryan Hart's getting back on the racetrack here just prior to qualifying. Tonight's race is 90 laps. That is 180 miles. This track banking 14 degrees in the turns, 11 degrees on the front straightaway, 3 degrees on the backstretch. One of the things about the backstretch here, Finian, it's extremely bumpy, so drivers will be fighting that all night long, as they did in the Cup cars last night. The trucks are a little softer. They shouldn't be quite so wild over those bumps, but even driving straight on the backstretch can be a challenge here.
Yeah, I think really the big thing is going to be seeing these guys it's going to, I feel, race a lot like what we saw these guys do in Michigan not too long ago. Obviously very similar in shape and length. Obviously the big difference is the banking, not as much banking at California compared to Michigan, but the racing style, I would say, fairly similar. What's also going to be good for these guys is the huge amount of room they have in these turns. You can use the top lane, you can use the bottom lane, but everyone's going to converge on exit. And we've seen a lot of wrecks coming out on exits of turn 2 and 4 last night.
How much banking they got on those terms?
Terms? I don't know. Got a lot of terms.
What about the conditions? All right, so
don't read them.
Yeah, qualifying is underway right now, but fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all area broadcasts commercial free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. Heading down to the racetrack now for qualifying, and this is a pretty critical phase of the night for a lot of the playoff competitors. Not because it matters where you start in terms of finishing up front, but it can keep you out of trouble early when there's 30 trucks on track all going for it.
Yeah, especially if you're one of those guys, one of the playoff guys, where you need to have a good finish. You don't want to try to be combing your way through the field. You're putting yourself at risk of potentially getting caught up in an incident while you're on your way to the front. Talked about the 46 Garrett Grant was the lowest of the playoff contenders in practice. We'll see if he shows any muscle in qualifying here as he starts his first flying lap.
And just a little bit of a breathe on the throttle into turn 1. These trucks, again, with a much lower horsepower than the Cup and the Xfinity cars. We'll see the Launch Box race on Thursday. You're going to be in throttle a lot more tonight, Finian. You're going to be slipstreaming and drafting. This is going to look a lot like a Talladega race, maybe with a little bit less pack racing, but similar strategies there to qualifying, where you're going to lap 1 will be up high against the fence, and lap 2 you might see drivers down a little bit more closer to the middle of the bottom.
You just need to be careful, though. Make a mistake on lap 2, you're going to have 2 slow laps, so don't want to have that as Garrett Grant comes for his first time lap, as we saw, was just trying to build up momentum here for a solid lap 2.
Good lap 1. It's going to be, or lap 1. There's Brad Slaughter, a little bit quicker, a 41.008. And again, as far as the track record goes, we are already eclipsing that by 0.3 of a second. So that's going to fall even further, I'm sure, on the second lap. Josh Taylor goes third quick. Colin Fambro is on the back straightaway. He's working on completing his first lap as well.
Yeah, very slow trickle of cars, or should I say trucks, out onto the racetrack. Not a whole lot of guys pouncing out the opportunity to get a time down. Looking at just a couple guys out here, about 7 trucks out there flying, putting down some laps. Colin Fambro across the line. Garrett Grant completing his 2 laps. He's going to be on pole at the moment with a 40.7, and it's going to be immediately eclipsed by Brad Slaughter Jr. to the top 40.6.
Already 7/10 quicker than the best lap from previous seasons here in the Area Truck Series. Cameron Hearn's on track. Josh Taylor goes third quick. Ryan Hartz is getting up to speed as well, albeit slowly, in the Rick's Hot Sauce truck. The Chevy Silverado heading down the back straightaway. And you're right about that slow trickle. I wonder why that is. Maybe we can keep an eye on the weather. Maybe they're expecting the temperature to drop a little bit. 77 Fahrenheit is a little bit warmer than we saw the start of the race last night in the Cup Series, but I don't know that that would drop significantly enough to make a big difference here in qualifying for the trucks.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're hoping for. Just kind of see if, again, these guys are looking for any single advantage, because it's going to come down to a couple hundreds, maybe even thousands of a second here between some positions. So I think that's what these guys are kind of hoping for, big swings in temperature to just give them that little bit more of an edge.
Ryan Hartz is right on the edge, real high in turns 1 and 2. Now down the back straightaway, watch the horizon bouncing up and down right here as we head into turn 3. Right up against the wall again, trying to carry as much momentum as possible onto the front straight for lap 2. No one's been able to knock Brad Slaughter Jr. off the provisional pole, though. That was Hunter Sleppy's pick to win the race tonight, already off to a good start.
Yeah, I was going to mention that was Hunter's pick, and so far it stands pretty well. It's still got 2/3 of the field yet to put a qualifying time down, and still some heavy hitters still left to go, so we'll see if that does stand.
P5 for Hartz on lap 1. That's going to bode pretty well for his second lap, I think. Sub 41 seconds.
And one guy to look out for coming out of turn 4 right now, Cameron Hearn in the 67. Onto the front straightaway he will come to complete his second lap. We'll see. You expect this time to be pretty decent?
Decent it is. 40.8 puts him P3.
Not too bad.
Hartz is lap number 2 here. And across the line for the number 3 this time. 40.681, just shy of Brad Slaughter Jr. He'll go second quick by 38 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, I was going to say Ryan Hartz, he had 3 poles this season, will not be a 4th tonight. As you mentioned, settles for second place. Looking at David Weishart in the 33, starting to get some times down.
The points leader coming into the night. And the safest driver in terms of the cut line, the goal for him is just not to throw away that points lead, or just to win another race and be in the best position of anybody by locking yourself in. There are 3 drivers that all have 3 wins apiece. The only other driver that even was close to that was Scioli, who's now eliminated. Matthew Bell and Jordan Hurley each have 1 win. Other than that, the rest of the drivers in the playoffs are winless. Brad Slaughter Jr. and Garrett Grant included in that. Here comes Weishart, though, looking for his 4th win on the season tonight. 41.382 first lap. That was a little slower than we saw the 3.
Yeah, I think this is because he's really not forcing it, maybe saving some tire here for lap number 2. Now his lap, he's got to put everything on the line. It definitely doesn't want to be starting 18th.
Out of turn 2 and heading down the back straightaway here. Terminal velocity of these trucks is pretty similar to what you're seeing off in the corners as well. 180 plus into turn 3 and not lifting much. 171 is min speed. Wow. 170.
Yeah, 170.
Yeah, so 10 miles an hour delta there, maybe a little slower on exit, but Weishart comes across the line. We'll see if he jumps up inside the top 10. Scioli goes third quick, 47.58 for Weishart. That'll put him in P5. Eric Wineland working his way around. This is an important night for Eric because he is last in the playoff grid, and he just scraped by last time around. Finney in Las Vegas was almost a catastrophic night for him. Got damaged early and was fighting all night long. Lap 1 was a 43.207. That was the slowest lap 1 we've seen, but I think he's setting up for this lap 2 to be a lot quicker. Barely breathed the throttle there into turn 1.
Yeah, it really matters just carrying as much speed as possible. You see going to around 170, 168 was his lowest. Might be a little bit too slow there, but we'll see going to turns 3 and 4 if he can make up anything. Matthew Bell of note, also another playoff driver, up to 7th place. We'll see if Wineland can slot himself. I think for him, the main goal trying to get into that top 10 where all the other playoff drivers are at the moment.
Like pretty good min speed through the corner and up down onto the apron here at corner exit. And that time through is a 40.703 that will put him P4. That's a great starting position if he can hang on to it.
Yeah, really solid considering there's not too many guys left to go, so should definitely be in the top 10. Solid effort from the 21. Not so solid effort from the 28. Travis Beckner is all the way down in 22nd. And could potentially be worse. We got some more guys out there. Jordan Hurley on his first lap, now on his second lap here in the 5-5 machine.
Yeah, Hurley again had a victory. I think that was back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, if I recall correctly. Was that victory at? No, that was back at Rockingham that he stole that.
How could I forget?
Yes. And out of turn 4 on his second lap, we'll see what Hurley can do. Logan Hartman, the last driver, looks like that'll be taking a time of 47.90. Pretty solid time, but with how competitive it is, it'll land him 11th.
Yeah, not too terrible up, not too terribly good of one either, as you mentioned, the 51 of Hartman. One of the last guys rolling out on the track. It looks like we don't have Bobby Tin, Shane Abbey, Tommy Wright, or Jeff Ryan putting down a lap, which is a bit interesting to me.
This place, again, kind of races like a plate track in some ways, so maybe there's some strategy behind that to start behind and carve their way through, get an idea of how the dirty air is tonight.
Yeah, considering what we saw last night, too, we did see quite a few guys from beyond 30th place race their way to the front by the end of the night, but again, that's just a lot of risk for, potentially not much reward if you get wrecked out, so curious to see what these guys have planned. Hartman 27th after his first lap, but obviously we've seen everyone pick up significantly on lap number 2.
And sometimes even more significantly with an extra slow lap 1, so we'll see how that fares for Logan Hartman. One thing I wanted to point out was the drivers with the white number backgrounds on the ticker, James Scioli, AJ Roderick, Anna Sogak, drivers that for a few of them were recently playoff drivers as recently as last week, so they're really going to throw a wrench into things here. We saw last night that drivers that are not in the playoffs won't necessarily roll over and let the playoff drivers have their fun. So Scioli could really turn this thing around and maybe bat for his teammates here tonight in a little bit of a team function, given that it's so draft heavy. Hartman's second lap, no pickup in positions. He will stay 27th.
And that will essentially wrap up qualifying with just about 20 seconds left to go. Brad Slaughter sitting as your pole sitter, and for him, that's definitely not his first, from what I remember, his first pole position. This indeed will be his third pole position this season. That's got to suck knowing that he's so quick out on the track, but just has not gotten a win this season. He's got the same luck basically as Ryan Hart's in the Cup Series. Hart's doing a lot better in the Truck Series, 3 wins to his name. I'm sure Brad would love to have a win or two, especially before going into the final round. If he locks himself in, he is on that cutoff. A win would do him wonders for just locking himself in and giving him peace of mind into Richmond.
Another look at your round of 8 for the Area Truck Series. Again, Weishart, Hartz, Beckner, and Slaughter. And again, Travis Beckner has a little bit of a bubble back to E5, but I don't think anybody really is truly safe. If Weishart has a poor night tonight going into Richmond, he's really going to be in trouble. But I think, someone's going to lock themselves in tonight, or they won't. These are your two options this evening. It could be a non-playoff competitor that gets the job done, but it's certainly going to be fun to watch, especially with Scioli up there mixing it up.
Yeah, having some quick guys not in the mix. We saw last night a non-playoff driver taking out 2 playoff drivers and causing another playoff driver who didn't seem like he was anywhere close to getting one and locking himself in. So curious to see if we see any close to a big shakeup like that in the points tonight. It's very much possible. Like you mentioned, if David Weiser has more unfortunate luck here, ends up retiring, and a playoff driver, maybe a guy like Eric Wineland, getting a win, who knows? We'll have to see.
We will have to see. Before we get rolling with our Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup, fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Use discount code AREA iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Time to roll through our starting lineup tonight. It is 32 trucks deep. Let's kick things off with row number 1. It's going to be Brad Slaughter Jr. searching for his first victory on the season. A 40.643 eclipses the track record by a big margin. He rolls off alongside Ryan Hartz, second in the points, second on the racetrack.
And ironically, in row number 2, we have James Scioli, a guy who was just in the playoffs, next to a guy who just iked his way into the playoffs last round, into the next round, I should say, Eric Wineland in 4th in the 21.
Row 3, AJ Roderick's number 56. He'll start alongside playoff competitor Garrett Grant, who comes into the night 7th in the standings. He could use a good night to get himself above that cut line.
In 7th, you have your points leader into tonight, 33 David Weishart, hoping for some luck. Next to him, Justin Anasogic, another driver recently eliminated in the 88 machine, in 8th place.
Matthew Bell clinging to a playoff spot right now. He starts 9th. Cody Cutler is 25. The 5-wide sports truck starts 10th.
Number 6, you find Jordan Hurley in the 5 machine. Next to him, Alex Weaver is going to be rolling off in the 98 in 12th place.
13th place, row 7, Cameron Hearn eliminated from the playoffs last week by 1 point. Bryce Senesac starts 14th in the 09.
By Jordan Martin lined up in the 11 truck in 15th place, with Josh Taylor next to him, the 57 in 16th.
17th place, Danny Ware's 00 running orange on the truck tonight, easy to spot, alongside another easy to spot truck, the 20 of Justin Munsell.
Back in 19th, going to be Jeff No in the 55, with Ryan Swan next to him in the 19, rounding out your top 20.
21st place, Jeffrey Wilson's number 85's 5-wide sports truck. Chris Seidenfeiten, past winner here in Season 1, starts 22nd.
Travis Beckner's going to be rolling off in 23rd, and the lowest of all 8 of the playoff drivers coming into tonight. He's got a lot of work to do, and Colin Faribault's next to him in the 18 truck in 24th.
And 25th place is the number 16 car. That is Tom Bourne. Carter Coop starts 26th in the 52.
Logan Hartman's going to be rolling off in 27th in the 51 machine, with Shane Abbey next to him in the 28 in the 12 truck.
Tommy Ryan starts 29th alongside Bobby Tinch in the 66, and rounding out the rear of the field, Jeff Ryan in the number 37.
For some reason, they're scoring skipping P30. Just noticing that.
I just noticed that too.
Yeah, it's weird.
That is weird. I'm sure that'll sort itself out. 57 truck. Josh Taylor. Rolling now again. He was supposed to start 6 down the order a little bit, but he's just catching up to the field. Very interesting there. I don't understand what was going on there, but who knows? Time to go racing, though, tonight in the Area Truck Series from Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. The race tonight is going to be 90 laps. It's about 180 miles. 31 drivers taking it on here at an altitude of 1,000 feet. It's time to kick off the round of 8 in the Area Truck Series. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Fontana. Field fans out on the back straightaway into turn 3. Here comes Scioli, eliminated from the playoffs, but not from competition.
Yeah, showing everyone that he shouldn't have been eliminated last week and trying to prove a point here. He's definitely going to prove a point here as he will lead lap 1. Brad Slaughter trying to draft back up to him. Going to go look to the inside heading to turn 1 of the 8 truck.
We're going to see a lot of drivers just keeping their foot in it tonight, just trying to carry speed. Ryan Hart's right now in that 3 truck, closing the gap here as they come out of turn 2.
And you can see there on the scoring there, 5 of the top 6 all playoff drivers, most of them near the front. Jordan Hurley dropping 1 spot off to the start, and actually potentially another spot as Cameron Hearn's next to him, racing side by side.
Another driver that was just barely eliminated and can certainly pose a threat. 1 truck way wide in turns 3 and 4. Is that the 16 truck of Tom Bourne? We're 4 abreast out of turn 4 back here.
Yeah, these guys, everyone racing for every single spot, no one giving an inch. Talking about everyone just kind of going full throttle, full beans. And especially in the back of the field, they're all trying to make up as many spots as possible.
Truck's driving good right now. You've got fresh tires on the truck. You've got all the hope in the world, but it's going to peel away as the night goes on. This is a pretty short race, 1 hour from here to the checkers. And I think we can also go green a lot of this race based on how aggressive drivers are fitting, especially if we get to the point where we single file these trucks out. I'd expect a lot of green flag pit strategy to have an effect on this race.
Garrett Grant very loose off of turn 4. Ryan Hart's trying to take advantage, as well as Weishart in behind him, trying to give him a little bit of a push, a little bit of a shove to get that truck going forward.
They're doing about 10 miles an hour on top of what they were doing with single truck runs. That's how big of a difference the slipstream, the draft makes, and just gives the 46 a jolt off into 1.
I want to take a look at the 16 at Tom Bourne. Whoa, he's about to get squeezed into the wall 3 wide in the background. He's making up 10 spots. He started 25th, is up to 10th. Sorry, up to 15th, up 10 spots from 25th, and he's just been ripping that high lane And it's been working out pretty good for him so far.
A general rule of thumb, watch the 09 how yawed out that truck is, but general rule of thumb on race starts is if you can go where they're not, as 56 of Roderick just got in the wall out of turn 4, go where they're not, and you'll make up some ground. So the 16 already making pretty good progress here. 4 wide again into turn 1. That's not going to work, guys.
They're definitely not going to work. Someone's got to give. And quite a few people taking secret side and fight and ripping up the middle, trying to go middle 3 wide with Swan and Fambro on either flank.
Side and 4 widen down into turn 1. Three truck breakaway here at the front, but it's still pretty frantic back here, just around 15th to 20th. On board with Shane Abbey.
Yeah, these guys can really not figure out what order they want to be in. And Tom Borden still, I'm keeping an eye on that 16 truck. He's been moving through the field.
They can't figure out what order they want to be in? Well, someone's got to be first, and they all follow after that, but good luck getting them to agree on that.
I was going to say, they can't figure out who they want as 15th at the moment because they're going 3-4 wide around that spot.
Well, they all want to be 15th, and then right after that, they want to be 14th, and then they want to be 13th. And they're never quite satisfied.
Well, James Kyle is satisfied at the moment at the front, keeping that lead. Slaughter and Grant not quite able to catch him at the moment.
David Weishart kind of joined that little 3-truck breakaway. So it's 4 trucks now as we're 3 wide with the 88 of Zanasogak in the middle. The bottom, I think that is the 98 of Alex Weaver in the Toyota.
Trying to have a look to the inside of Anasogak and the inside lane. I'm curious to see how much longer that lane's going to last. We're going to see these guys kind of migrate a little bit more to the top, trying to make that run. I mean, again, we've seen quite a few guys use that outside lane with good effect, and so the top few spots there just been kind of going down there no matter what.
Big track with not a ton of power compared to the Cup and Lodgebox Series cars, so what you're going to end up with is drivers.
Oh, side and fight in the wall.
Oh boy, everybody scatters. You don't want to get out of the throttle because you just don't have power to overcome that loss of momentum. So that means that those upper grooves will likely get more dominant as the race goes on, but you don't want to do what Side and Fight just did, pack the side against the fence.
No, you definitely want to do what Tom Borden's doing. I keep talking about this truck. He's in 9th right now, and actually he's just about to get past Cameron Hearn. He's in 8th.
The 18 truck, by the way, Colin Fambro, I think, has come up through the field a little bit as well. 24th to 12th, plus 12 for him.
Yeah, Seidenfeld was also making some decent progress in behind the 16 on Bourne, but after that incident getting into the wall, just running a little bit too high off the corner, lost about 5 or 6 spots.
Still a big gaggle here in the midfield. The 12 of Shane Abbey, 18th place, but following a 3-wide battle for 15th. Look at the 45 go around the outside. Look how much more speed you can carry than someone like Shane Abbey in the 12 near the bottom of the racetrack. It's just such a huge advantage. But it comes with risks, and we've seen that 45 already in the fence.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not afraid of going back up there because he knows how much speed is worth there. And again, you're going to have to, I'm telling you, Tom Moore did not pay me to talk about him more, but he's fighting with Eric Wineland now for 6th place. And at the rate he's going, he's going to crack the top 5 in a lap or 2.
Wineland, whoa, Wineland threw the block on him there on the front straightaway and went for a bit of a ride up the nose of the 16. That was a dicey moment. And here he comes again. Look at him, you're right, but how much is he burning up the tires? We saw last night, Finn, you had to be so reserved to carry speed throughout the run. We've already seen half a second of fall off in the first 10 laps of this race.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're already starting to see him stall just a little bit here, struggling with the 21. But I was just amazed by the way he caught up to Matthew Bell right in behind and just ripped around the outside like it was nothing, like he was in a completely different vehicle. Whoa, he's starting to get really loose, and we were talking about that tire wear. I think he's starting to burn up his stuff. Cameron Hearn diving way down low, and how low? I think that's Cody Cutter almost in the grass.
Yeah, he had a big moment as well, loose out of 4. And if you're abusing those tires, you might start seeing it now, I think is probably a safe assessment to take away after that moment. And that's one thing I worry about with that 16 truck is he's flying right now, yes, but it's going to start falling away from him now. He's dropped back down to 8th. And we'll see if he can start that momentum back forward, but my gut is telling me it probably not is the case. Trying it, though.
And he's still trying it, still trying to make it work. Might have to dial it back, though, a little bit. I think now he's got himself in the top 10. I think now
crash behind him. Front straightaway. Cars in the grass.
Side fight.
And Justin Munsell, and Munsell gets in the wall. And they'll come out of it straight. But clearly something happened back here. Let's have a look.
Yeah, this was interesting. So Seidenfeld ended up getting the wall coming off of turn 4, but not kind of what you expect. He got clear of the wall, and then he just drifted up into the wall after the exit of the corner. You'll see right here. Here's where a lot of guys end up hitting it right there, and then he kind of just meanders into it, slows down. Swan gets into him, turns him into Munsell.
Yeah, Munsell's going to have some fairly significant damage after that, and I think they're, well, Seidenfeld also going pretty slow. We'll see if they come to pit lane, but my gut is going to tell me that they're going to have to. For the lead, here comes Brad Slaughter Jr. to the inside of the 7, and then kind of brought some more drivers into that mix. It was just 4, but now what? I count 7, 8 drivers all battling for that spot. Here's Hearn trying to defend from Tom Bourne, and Matthew Bell is back in the mix, coming up into 8th place.
Yeah, we saw the lead be pretty quiet ever since Skyler took the lead away on lap 1. Now Slaughter still trying to fight with him. He's going to dive and pass the number 7 heading into turn 3.
And look at the 33 get right to the rear bumper of the number 7, and you can almost expect a big push coming here from the 33 to the 7. But the draft's not quite strong enough to get to him without a nice run also. Now the 7 tries the high side into turn 1 to get this lead back from Brad Slaughter Jr.
Yeah, we'll see, can he make the outside lane work? We've seen it's definitely possible to make it work. Maybe not for the lead, though. I think that inside lane might be the best for the lead. He's going to do a crossover here, get a run out of the corner. Now he'll be to the inside, heading to turn 3 on the back straightaway.
Look at the run he got. Brad Slaughter did not get off the corner very well. That will let Skyly clear the 8. The 33 tries to follow to the bottom. The 8 crosses over right in front of him. Gets a fantastic run off the corner here. Skyly's going to come down cover. No, he will not. He's going to let the 8 to the inside.
Willing to play this game. Will Brad Slaughter lead a lap? He will not. It'll be Skyly that will lead that lap. Finally, Slaughter takes the lead, heading off into turn 1. That's the kind of game you play. You know, you take the inside lane, you're not going to get a good run off the corner. You're going to be vulnerable, and we've seen Skyly take advantage of it, and you'll probably take advantage of it right this moment again. Another switch back.
Yeah, again, you're not limited by your forward grip like you were in the Cup car last night. So if you even bleed off a little bit of momentum coming up off the corner, it doesn't really matter what line you take. You still have to be efficient with it. The 7 slides up big time, though, in 4. That will let the 8 come back to the bottom. Great battles for the lead here as we work our way past lap 15. Already 4 lead changes, make it 5 this time around.
Brian Hart's working past the 46 of Garrett Grant with a little bit of a help from a shove. Whoa, as Garrett Grant actually got so much momentum into the corner, almost tapped the back of David Weishart.
Getting a little bit messy up here. I think drivers are getting a little bit more aggressive. Look at the block from the 46 to the 9. Matthew Bell will try a different line instead. And Eric Wineland is right in the middle of all this. And Wineland needs to really beat some of these guys tonight as he's going to get hit. No! Hang on to it. He does. What a save by Eric Wineland.
That's a Code Brad moment right there. I'm sure Wineland just saw his championship hopes disappear for a second as he got hit.
Was clipped and did such a good job gathering that truck back up. That could have been catastrophic, but he falls to 11th. And here comes Bryce Senesac now with a new livery to the bottom of the racetrack to try to put him back in another position. But really, the 21 needs to A, not get crashed out by competitors, but B, finish ahead of them to make sure that he doesn't remain in 8th after tonight in points.
Yeah, I was going to say it's tough because a lot of the guys he's racing for that final spot with are ahead of him. Garrett Grant, namely, is ahead of him. He is ahead, however, of, well, now at the moment he's behind Matthew Bell and is ahead of Travis Beckner. Beckner doing the worst out of everyone of the playoff drivers at the moment. Still back in 17th, has not made a whole lot of forward progress. Only up 6 spots.
Clouds over the racetrack right now might cool the surface down a bit. Day racing here versus a night race here. A little bit more grip limited, although the temperature is falling to ambient throughout this race. Weishart and Hartz run door to door out of turn 2.
And Weishart should get this over the number 3. Indeed, he will. Will Hartz make a dive? No, he peels back in behind. So Weishart will still hold on to that 3rd place spot.
Mentioned Travis Beckner and the lack of progress he has made. Only a couple of positions. 18 laps
Colin
in.
Fambro on the wall, going to door. Eric Wineland, Fambro spinning across the straightaway, going to hook. And a Sogak, and the caution's going to fly.
Truck skidding and sliding all over the racetrack, but looks like the 88.
Oh, and
Fambro, or yes, sorry, you're right, Beckner. Looked like he was in it a little bit as well.
Yeah, he was the start of it.
Let's go back and have a look at what happened here. Our first caution of the night, and back a little further. To watch the 18 truck, middle of your screen here. Up the racetrack, gets into the wall. Oh, it gets into Wineland, gives him some more damage. Then Anna Sogak gets turned. It's hit by Senesac, which spins him around some more. And Beckner, a little bit of a touch there, not major damage. Then Shane Abbey gets picked up a little further down the way here. He gets into the wall pretty hard.
Wow, we need a ride on board with Jordan Hurley. He somehow didn't get a huge piece of this.
Wow, okay, I saw him go through that. Let's ride on board with Gordon Hurley.
He's definitely going to need a new set of tires, but I think that's the best case scenario out of this.
Juke to the right, juke to the left, juke to the right, juke to the left. Big slide. Oh. And kept it straight after all of that. And here's what it looked like from the outside. That was excellent driving there.
Yeah, really, really solid job. I think he might have picked up just a nick of damage on the left rear bumper from Shane Abbey, but that's not as bad as it could have been.
Pit lane is a busy place right now as they roll off pit road. Looks like Scioli will win that race. Brad Slaughter Jr., David Weishart, Ryan Hartz, 4.
Yeah, not surprised we're almost a third of the way through this race, and I think definitely enough for tires to be a concern, and also for quite a few guys to get some damage repair.
2 drivers that are out already. Chris Seidenfeiden and Justin Munsell both came down about 6 laps ago. Called it a night. Too much damage to continue for those 2 drivers.
Yeah, not surprised. Unfortunate, especially because Seidenfeiden was looking to be having a good night and just slowly fell backwards throughout the run. Of course, to see him retire as we see the field join up back near the front.
So Eric Wineland has really dodged a couple issues tonight, but does he have some damage? I see a little bit, and I wonder if the steering is affected. Looks pretty straight now, but you see that aero damage on the right front, Finian. Not what he needs.
No, definitely the last thing he needs. I'm trying to look and see and make sure it's going to be more with just aerodynamic or engine. I think most of that was to the door and the wheels, so definitely not going to be down on power. However, like you mentioned, the suspension and the handling, especially the aerodynamics, that's going to be more of a concern. Didn't come back down again, so I would assume that he's got it all fixed up.
Yeah, it looks bad, but I think it's not really all that bad at the end of the day. So
we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. We're closing in on the 1/4 mark of this race, and it goes by quick. This is going to be a fast one tonight. Or, again, we're not sure how many caution opportunities we're going to get. So, we've seen a couple SimWrap Market replays tonight. Fans, be sure to check out simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And look at those playoff competitors. 5 of the 8 in the top 6, and 3 of the 8 with some trouble already kicking off tonight. Travis Beckner, one of those drivers I'd worry about. We haven't really seen a lot of speed, but again, maybe that will pay off in the longer run. Maybe saving something, planning that move up forward.
Yeah, it did get some damage to the nose of that machine. It spent a little bit of time fixing it down a pit lane. Still has some crinkles there, so I'll be concerned about that. But yeah, hasn't really made a whole lot of progress. Of course, Hurley and Wineland also relegated to the back of the field with the damage they got. Notably, of course, under that last pit stop, Scioli took the lead back from Slaughter and has elected the outside lane to start.
Coming back to the green, lap number 22 of 90. Here from Fontana, you're watching Sim TV. Kyle Heyer, Freddie Naguna bringing you the action. And green flag back in the air. We're back underway in the area truck series. The round of 8, Bobby Tench the back round. Now look at it, to the inside goes Ryan Hartz with a fantastic restart to the inside of the 8.
And we'll see if he can hold it down. He should be able to, because these guys are still going to be accelerating through turn 1. So a fantastic move from Reinhardt. He's going to hold on a second. Will he be able to clear though off the corner? I don't think he will. Here comes Slaughter, and Weiser with a massive run on the outside.
Yeah, great run there. You can see the outside versus the middle versus the bottom and the advantages they give. But watch the 3 into turn 3. Big send here as the 8 kind of holds him to the bottom. That's going to get tight here off turn 4.
So Hart's got a little bit loose. Saw the steering wheel fling to the right to keep it going straight. Lost some momentum. He's going to go back to 4th place. As Whitehart's now in 2nd with a big run on Scioli. Will he go to the down low? He will not. Stay on 7.
Up to 6th place after starting 13th. Let's not count him out. Not in the playoffs, but certainly hungry for a win. Just the same, has none to speak of this season despite being close many, many times. Middle 3 wide is Cody Cutler's 25. And Gordon Martin's got some nose damage on that number 11 already. Somehow still hanging on to P10.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't notice that he had that much nose damage to that machine. Kind of amazed that he's still hanging up near the front, so it's definitely not hurting him. At least it doesn't seem to be hurting him a whole lot at the moment.
Here comes Weishart for the lead on Scioli to the outside into turn 1.
The thing is, will he be able to hold it to the outside, or will Scioli be able to clear him? Completely different lanes. Weishart entering high, going to try to cut it back down low. Scioli going to wash up the track. In front of the 33, still gives him the lane though.
And into turn 3, the 33 will nose ahead. Tom Bourne, you mentioned him in that previous run, how many spots he gained. Here he is again, trying to do the same thing on the outside groove, trying to hang on that quarter panel Matthew Bell, and wasn't able to quite do it.
Garrett Grant looking down low, thinking about making it 3 wide as Cameron Hearns racing side by side with Ryan Arts.
Hearn makes the pass, the 9 at the bottom of the 46, and Tom Bourne sees these drivers side by side. Here's an opportunity, and with a run to the outside of the 9, he's going to look for 7th.
I'm sure he was happy. A caution came out, got some fresh rubber, can now kind of fling around the outside again to pick off some more victims. Going to try to look to the outside of Garrett Grant. He's going to be riding his right quarter panel really hard.
Oh, Grant's not going to give it to him, though. Runs him tight out of turn 4. Saw some 3 wide action behind them with Jordan Martin kind of getting swallowed alive there.
Yeah, it is now. Looks like it's that damage is starting to hurt him. He's losing a lot of speed on the straightaways.
Less draft. He's in the air more. That's going to affect him. Certainly, I don't think you can get away with that much damage here in iRacing. That's going to definitely hurt your straight line speed and your downforce level. And I expect we'll just see him continue to drop without having a chance to fix that.
Yeah, this restart a lot more calmer than we saw on the initial start. Kind of surprised. Usually we see the opposite. Usually you see guys be a lot more aggressive, but everyone's kind of filing out here, finding their own groove.
And it feels like they get it more aggressive later in the day because, you know, they had an opportunity to pass. They took it easy because it was the start. When they realized how difficult it is to run people down, so that's when people tend to get a little bit more aggressive. Eric Wineland really needs to move forward and make sure that he doesn't get trapped at the bottom like he did last week at Las Vegas. Remember, he started up front, had good speed, got kind of half spun by the 46 of Garrett Grant, and then got a little bit involved in that recent collision on the front straight. Is now sitting in 20th.
Yeah, he's been trying to make some progress forward. It's been slow but steady. Hurley's been a little bit more successful. Hurley restarted in 25th, is up to 18th. Wineland started 23rd, is only up to 20th, so not as good progress as it could be.
That's what I worry about, though, is you have a couple things go wrong and it just kind of derails your whole night. And again, who knows how much that damage is affecting him, but I feel like it can't be none.
Yeah, let's see if you can try to right the ship around if he is still affected by damage. I mean, there isn't all much you can do. At this point, you can only fix so much of it, whatever the sim allows you to. As we look back up for the
Caution,
lead.
trouble turn 3. Tommy Ryan. Travis Beckner's in it.
Oh.
Playoff competitor Travis Beckner, who is
heavy damage to him.
Above the cut line coming in, has huge damage front and rear and side on this 28.
Oh, and Eric Wineland, I think, was involved as well.
Oh, yeah, he gets turned by the 99. And Eric Wineland, yes, in it again. This is tough to spectate here. The 99 comes off the wall just the slightest bit. See Wineland just tag the 28, but will likely have added to the total damage on that truck. Yeah, a couple big hits there for Beckner.
And also Jordan Hurley dodged a bullet as well. Another playoff competitor just in front of Eric Wineland.
He's dodged a couple tonight. Yeah, more. He might have been able to net go through that. Saw the damage appear on the left front and then go away. So who knows how much it's hurt the 21, but he's going to skip pit lane this time as the rest of the field comes onto pit lane.
Interesting.
99 was given the EOL for that penalty, or for the collision, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, so Jeff Ryan and Eric Wineland staying out with everyone else coming in. It's a bit interesting to see.
Well, Eric Wineland needed to do something because obviously being back in the pack is not doing him any favors. Remember, he was running up front and then had that little half spin off the nose of the 46 and then got caught up in a wreck. Then had to come down to pit lane, repair some damage, got back on the racetrack, couldn't make up ground, got involved in another wreck.
Him shutting the engine off too.
Fuel strategy potentially playing a factor here.
Yeah, so and remember, here's an interesting thing to bring up from last night. He can't really pit now because if we remember what happened last night too, the 33 David Weiser why got put in such a hole was because he stayed out on the first lap when everyone was told to come in, and then when the second lap, when the lap cars pit, when Weiser came back down and he got a penalty, which he had to serve under green, 40-second stop and hold. So he can't, so Wineland can't really come in again, otherwise he'll risk getting a penalty, and I hope that he knows that.
Well, he must, because he was here last night telling us about that. So,
right, oh yes, right, yes.
So I hope that he doesn't get caught. But engine is shut off. He is not the leader, though. Does that apply to, I guess it would apply to everybody that.
From what I remember, because I've been bought by that penalty myself in the past, it applies to any lead lap car.
And you probably weren't leading, so that explains. just saying.
But yeah, so I think with any lead lap car, basically you're only allowed to come down the first time, and then that's it. If you don't come down the first time, you can't come down at all. So, but either way, it doesn't matter. He's going to stay out. So, Wineland, Jeff Ryan are going to stay out. Everyone else is going to come down. Everyone else has come down and got 4 fresh tires.
So we're a third of the way into this race, and this is now the third set of tires. The ones they started on +2 that the leaders have gotten on.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through this race.
Right, so maybe there's some strategy there for Wineland as well. But he's going to fall back on this restart. The tires, I think, are going to matter. The fall-off is about half a second every 10 laps. But I think there's a different strategy being played here, whether it's conservation of fuel or tires or both. I don't think the objective here is for Wineland to stay out front. I think the objective is longer term than that. But again, I do worry a little bit about getting off strategy in case this does go green. If you're going to lock yourself into something you can't get out of.
Yeah, it's either going to work out really well for him or really badly. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of middle ground. I think he's going to have to hope for his sake that this works out. Same thing with Jeff Ryan's going to have to kind of hope that this works out. He's got a lot of fast, hungry drivers in behind him.
See how it pans out. Lap 32 is going to be the restart here for the Area Truck Series. Quick look at the race recap. 60 laps to go, 2 cautions for 4 laps, 3 leaders, 8 lead changes. Green flag, back in the air, lap 32.
Yeah, it looks like Eric Wineland's gotten a black flag, and potentially due to the 37 being slow on the start. Speaking of which, here he comes, getting put 3 wide. Brad Slaughter coming up the middle.
Yeah, Brad Slaughter Jr. just trying to take advantage of knowing that these guys are down on tire. So if that penalty for the 21 sticks, that is going to be catastrophic for his chances tonight. You won't go a lap down if you pit now, but how do you pit when you're on the high side of 3 wide?
Yeah, well, he's trying. Race Control's reviewing the start to see if it is. Whoa, Weiser getting loose in the middle, 3 wide, almost spun out for a second, but that starts being reviewed by race control, so Wineland may potentially have it cleared depending on their ruling.
And that one little slip for Weishart cost him 6 spots. On the restarts, everybody's just keeping it gun full throttle. If you have to lift for anything, it's like lifting through Radion on the start of a GT3 race. You're just going to go backwards.
And so far, actually, that call for Wineland not looking too terribly bad. He's keeping up the pace pretty decently. He's tucked in behind Skyler. I think he's just going to try to kind of ride that outside lane.
Oh, spin behind him. 25 is sideways. Whew. Saves it. We're not out of it yet, though. Great job.
Completely overtaken by everyone else, and everyone's going to avoid it, and we continue to go green.
Yeah, just 2 trucks came together there, middle of turn 3. It's going to spread the field out a little bit. That will help Wineland a bit. 3 wide again. Jeff Ryan on the bottom in the 37 truck. I think for Wineland, though, I think the wear is going to show up a little bit more. That's a 10-lap difference. That's significant. So once the slipstream kind of falls away and the field gets separated out, it's going to probably be worse for the 21 than for everybody else.
We'll see, right? Because I think he is definitely going to drop back. I don't think it's going to be much of a doubt for it. But remember, he was running around P20 of it before the caution came out.
Right.
So I think by the time he kind of can get himself back on the same cycle as everyone else, he'll be hoping to be running in the top 10. In which case, that would still be a good call. Yeah,
net gain is what you're looking for in a strategy like that. So you might be right. I think that's a good call. Maybe betting on some shorter runs also. Look at the 16 again, Tom Bourne way up high and making up ground like he was at the start of the race.
He loves that line. I think he's going to hope for a lot of short runs because otherwise that'll be his line to run.
Alex Weaver right behind him. And look at Garrett Grant, big send on the bottom. And David Weishart trying to recover lost spots. It seems like track position has been a pretty big challenge for some drivers to get. Others, it has not been a challenge at all. I wonder what the general consensus is across everybody.
Update on the incident regarding the restart. Wineland will have the black flag cleared.
Wipe the sweat off the forehead after that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, race control did make note, though, that even if the leader does slow down, that it's responsibility for the guy on the outside to follow his pace. So a little caveat there, but it will be cleared for now.
That was a lucky break for him. That would have been championship hopes dashed without a win next week if he had gone a lap down in that exchange. Alex Weaver making pretty good progress here on the bottom. 12th up to 6th and working on a couple more spots here, but the 16 trying to deny him that spot, and Wineland in the middle of 3 wide again.
Yep, 3 wide down the front straightaway, Bourne ripping that outside lane. Wineland was trying to cut off the 16, but couldn't quite get in front of him before they got out of the corner. Now he's being split. Here goes Bourne, Garrett Grant, Alex Weaver, all splitting the 21.
Yeah, so there's that degradation I was mentioning. We'll see how far he falls and how quickly he goes, but again, half a second in 10 laps. That half a second doesn't go away on a restart, so he's going to be losing some time here. It's a long ways back, about 3 seconds until he's back to where he was prior to this call, so he's got a few laps left in that strategy decision, and maybe he'll hope for a yellow in about 10-15 laps time, get him back on sequence and hopefully have a net gain.
Up near the front, Cameron Hearn trying to knock on the door. Brad Slaughter looking for 2nd place. Slaughter being content, at least at the moment. Matthew Bell not being content, trying to look to the outside at 6-7.
Good run here on the outside, but it gets the door slammed shut on him. The 67 goes to block. The 9 chases him back up the racetrack. I have a feeling these two are going to have a disagreement about that. Big run here for the 9.
Yeah, so I was looking at a big mess of cars near the back of the pack. And a big gaggle of cars around 23rd, 24th, but they've sorted themselves out.
Bell to the bottom in turn 1. And look at the 16.
Bye.
Loses some momentum on corner exit, though. It's going to get tight here. 3 across. Now the 9 will tuck back in line. This is good racing up front here. Lots of bobbing and weaving and position swapping. But that 16 truck, look at the speed he's got. These short runs give the 16 the medal for the biggest mover of this race. He is flying right now again, as he did on the initial start.
I'm surprised that more guys haven't opted to try to run that outside line just to block the 16, because he's been unimpeded up there and he's been making so much ground, now up to 2nd place. Again, this man, he started back in 25th.
almost the entire field. Trouble in turn 1.
Oh, holy cow. 25 of Cody Cutter up into the fence.
Oh, man, you're not kidding about that. Well, caution's out for the 3rd time tonight, and this was a big one. This started out of turn 4. You see him get loose here.
And so they got a little disorganized, and then down the front straight around the start finish line is where it happens.
Josh Taylor gets collected, and then, wow! Yeah, that's a crash. Here it is in slow motion. Holy cow, that's a big hit.
Punted like a field goal. I know the Super Bowl's in a few days, but...
And then who came through here at the end? Was that Tommy Ryan?
I think so.
Just driving by all the debris. Didn't even lift. He saw him flipping, just like, it's so far off in the distance, you can see the car barrel rolling. But that was our 3rd caution on the night. That is maybe what Eric Wineland wanted to see, but we're only 11 laps into this run. I don't think they're going to come down for another set of tires. They're running out of sets pretty quick. Now what?
I'm curious, what is Eric Wineland doing now, right?
Down to 11, so he's fallen about halfway back to where he was. Has saved a set of tires.
Ooh, are the guys in the league going to pit? They're running kind of low in the straightaway like they're about to pit.
I
see some fakes?
would be surprised if they did, and yes, they're going to stay out, I think.
Fake, fake, fake. Wineland's coming in. Yeah, 37 of Ryan's coming in, and a lot of guys near the back are coming in.
All right, so now Wineland's going to look like a superhero on the restart, so this probably set him up actually pretty well if we go green for a long run. So that comes down to chance, but perhaps it'll work out for the 21.
Yeah, I was going to say he should come out around P15, P16, the way it looks, so, and with the tire advantage. So overall, not too bad of a call. Still bottom some positions, and now has fresher tires, like you mentioned.
Again, it would have been a bad call if that run went green for a long time, and it would be a great call if this run goes green for a long time. It's all dependent on circumstantial situations, and that's what I worry about with big swings at strategy like this, Vinny. I know he was having some trouble before, but take a big swing at strategy like that on circumstantial moments, and if they don't fall your way, you know, you can see things really go wrong. Remember at Las Vegas, he had a well-timed caution that saved his night, and it's not always going to happen. He knows that.
Oh, yeah, he definitely knows it.
But sometimes you got to take a big swing to get a home run.
It's one of those things where you can make an unorthodox call, and if it works, you look like a genius. If it doesn't work, you look like an idiot.
Yes. I usually fall on Group B of those.
Yeah.
I
would say I also think I feel more so on that side of things.
We had our league race last weekend where I just guessed that 6 gallons was the right amount to put in, and that happened to be exactly on the dot how much I needed. And if I put in any less than that, I would have looked like an idiot. So.
We both looked like idiots because I just went with. I just heard you say 6 gallons, and I knew you said beforehand you had no idea how much you need. I was like, yeah, that seems about right.
And I
finished with just about a lap left.
I didn't even do math. I didn't even look. I was like, I feel like that's the right number, and it was not based on anything other than pure chance. But 1 to green this time. Lights are off on the pace truck. Fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. All right, look at the race recap again. Lead changes up to 10, 5 unique leaders, 3 cautions for 7 of our 43 laps completed, and we are nearing the halfway point of this race. And there is not a lot of time left if we go green to the end from here.
Yeah, just about half an hour of racing left to go if we go from green from here to the finish, which at this point, I kind of doubt, but I also don't think we will see a whole lot of wrecks. They've been racing relatively calm near the front. A lot of the wrecks have been in the middle to the back of the pack, and for kind of unorthodox reasons for the last 2.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is we saw more crashes last night out of turn 2, and tonight it's been out of turn 4. It's like an entirely different area of the racetrack that we're seeing the trouble spots.
Well, actually, 2 of them have been on the straightaways, not even in the turns.
Well, that's what I mean. Front straightaway, turn 4, but like last night they were back straightaway, turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
So completely opposite ends of the racetrack, which is interesting, I think. right, field doubled up. And cautious of those restart rules. Scioli, your leader on the bottom. Bourne on the outside, where he is called his home tonight in that 16 truck. Green flag back in the air. 67. Getting around the 16. Did not get a very good restart.
Tom Bourne sleeping with the fishes on that restart. Did not get going whatsoever. Going to get back all the way to almost 6th place by the time they hit a turn 1. Horrible restart for the 16. Is now on the back foot immediately.
And in the middle, which before the driver to his outside was called the concrete retaining wall. He hasn't had a truck to his outside yet tonight. They couldn't fit up there. Now he goes up there, and again, in turn 3, he's going to just throttle up and drive around the outside of everybody again. I just don't get why no one else is doing this, Finian. It's just so much more effective.
Yeah, it clearly works, and now he's finally been. Oh, he's going to get. Oh, okay. No, he gets into the wall decently hard.
Okay, that explains that.
I mean, it works when you don't hit the wall.
It does. That does generally cut down the efficacy of most racing moves.
Jordan early liking his chances on the outside, saying, hey, maybe if he can do it, I can do it.
Weaver just slotted in front of the 46 of Garrett Grant, who is another one of those drivers that could use a good night tonight, and with the 28 and 21's issues, might be in a good spot to gain a bunch of points. By the way, the 28 of Travis Beckner still 19th, but now with damage. Ryan Hart's loose on the bottom. And how important is track position? The 3 was up front all night long and is now battling to stay inside the top 10.
Yeah, kind of surprised that he slipped back that far, but I think, just luck of the draw at the moment, just has not been running too well and put back in traffic now.
Well, that impact with the wall did not stop Tom Bourne or discourage him from trying the same move again. He's up to the outside again. Has some significant damage, though.
Yeah.
But we'll see how much that impacts him over the course of the run.
That's why I'm kind of surprised that he's actually starting to make some progress again forward. I thought he was going to continue to drop back, but no, he's keeping his foot in it, whether the tires like it or not.
Past halfway now, working lap 47 this time through. Brad Slaughter Jr. chasing Scioli to the white line. Matthew Bell up on the high side, carrying speed behind the 33 and the 67, and Bell slots in just above the 33 truck.
Yeah, Bell working that outside lane for a little bit. Not sure if he wanted to or not. Gets a decent run, nowhere to go at the moment. Going to slot back in behind the 33. Whoa, almost gets into the wall. Following everyone through, looking at Eric Wineland in 13th, starting to make some forward progress.
Yeah, again, he's going to have a 12-lap tire advantage over everybody else here. See them all kind of skidding around. He's got a little bit more grip and should be coming forward despite any holdup from the damage. That damage looks mostly repaired. And we're seeing the trucks kind of fall into a similar line at the start of the corner, kind of middle to low, but no one really committed to the high lane like the 16 is. 3 working his way back forward on the inside of Alex Weaver, battle for 6th.
Yeah, Weaver has been having a fairly decent night, as we mentioned, fairly quiet night as well. In the 98, it's been kind of peaking up and down the order and just inside the top 10. And Hart's trying to take that spot back. He will take 6 back, and Weaver lets him on through.
Single file line here up front. They fan out a little bit in the corners just to get some air on the nose, but they are tucked in like Indy cars on the front straightaway. Okay, sorry, redacted cars on the front straightaway of the redacted oval.
Now Weishart back up on the top plane a little bit. It is kind of, we were kind of joking a little bit before.
Caution.
They obviously, never
Tommy
mind.
Ryan in the wall, but that's a big hit. All right.
How did he end up there? And did he bring any friends along for the ride?
Kind of by himself. Logan Hartman is behind him. And Ryan already had damage from an earlier incident.
Oh.
And, oh. Well, how do you feel about that one?
Yeah, that's something.
Was there prior issues with these guys?
I don't think so, but that was just a really, really bizarre incident.
I mean, the first contact I get as a bad bump draft, but then Logan keeps in the throttle as the 99 is spinning all over the place and just kind of drives back into him like he's trying to finish him off.
Yeah, but that did look very intentional.
Wow. So, see how that pans out, but that will cause another slowing. And now with 20 laps on the tires, these guys are almost forced to come down to pit lane. Now what does Wineland do? He's kind of back on the same tire sets as everyone else. He's only been on track for 8 laps, though. He's going to be opposite, stay out again.
Interesting.
That's a smaller gap than everyone else had before, so I don't think it'll be as big of a deal, but still 8 laps is laps.
Yeah, it could be worse.
Could be worse.
Could be better, could be worse. And Jeff Ryan also going to join him.
I like having
strategy.
some advantage as long as it continues to fall in my favor. Like if you're going to keep doing this alternate strategy and you just happen to have the better set of tires on for the longer run, you're going to be in great shape, but it's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, he does also have more of a buffer now. He's got Jeff Ryan, Jeff No, and Justin and Sogak all on the same boat. So 4 guys out on this strategy, everyone else coming in, and Ryan Swan, the first driver, off of pit lane because he took 2 tires. Actually, no, I don't even think he took 2 tires. He just fuel.
Yeah, just fuel only for the 19. Then everyone else took 4. Coyote, Slaughter Jr., Hearn, Weishart, and Matthew Bell. We're going to take a quick break for the restart. We'll be back in just a moment. The Area Truck Series playoffs continue from Fontana, California. 52 laps into our 90-lap event, the kickoff of the round of 8 for the Area Truck Series playoffs. Next week after Richmond, we eliminate 4 more drivers and send 4 off to Nashville to compete for the series championship. It's been a wild one tonight. Trouble for a couple playoff competitors, including Eric Wineland and the 28 of Travis Beckner. Beckner still sits 17th. Eric Wineland, though, has gotten off strategy and has put himself back in the lead of this race despite having a couple incidents on the evening. Other drivers had some issues. Chris Seidenfeld, Justin Munsell, Carter Koop, Josh Taylor, Cody Cutler, and Bryce Senesac all out with crash damage. Most recently, the 99 of Tommy Ryan and the 51 of Logan Hartman getting together on the back straightaway, bringing out our 4th caution of the night. Kyle Heyer joined by Finian DeCuna for this evening's 90-lap event. And it has been an adventure this evening. Last night we were treated with a 3-wide photo finish, Finian, and tonight we're setting ourselves up for a pretty frantic run to the end also.
Traditionally so far, we only are left with 25 guys still running on the track, and quite a few more guys with some decent damage as well in the fields. We'll see what we got left in store. We got 5 guys out on the track at the moment with old tires, everyone in behind them with fresh tires. So this will be an interesting restart.
Fields packed up, paired up again. Eric Wineland, 8-lap old tires, 10-lap old tires now with a couple on the yellow. He is off strategy with Jeff Ryan, but we're back green again and racing from Fontana, California.
Oh, they're 4 wide. They're 4 wide in behind. Everyone fanning out, trying to get around the guys with older tires because they know they have 4 fresh tires, and James Scully trying to rip the outside lane with them.
Wineland trying to run away from the chaos in the background. They're still 4 wide. Look at that out the mirror. The 55 slots into second place, but down the back straightaway, everyone will be jockeying for position.
And here they come. Scioli, Cameron Hearn ripping the outside lane, already up into 3rd and 4th place. Still 3 wide for a second, though.
Oh, man, this is going to get dicey. The 67 is sideways in turn 4. Spin to 33.
And no caution. There it is.
There it is. Weishart loops it.
I was I was literally just about to say if they don't wreck, I would be surprised, and I always thought of that. I saw Weishart spinning.
I think he did a pretty good job not getting any more damage, but did he get hooked by the 3? I think he did.
I think he did, yeah. I was curious if it was a self-spin. He might have had some help there. I think he might have been loose a little bit because he was right in the seam. Yeah, he was already loose. The 3 just kind of finished him off.
The slightest touch there from the 3.
But that small touch just shows you how unsettled the 33 was already prior to that contact.
Yeah, I think he was already going to lose 5-10 spots here, and he just got lucky to not hit anything or get hit. But that will get Neoel to the 3 of Ryan Hartz, so 2 playoff competitors coming together there, and it's going to knock both of them down the order. Things Eric Wineland likes to see, though, puts a cycle on everyone else's tires.
Oh, wait, is he going to...
I don't understand that.
I would not do that.
I don't understand that. I mean, what is 3 laps going to do for you? I don't get that.
Yeah, maybe hit the number.
Yeah, but I mean,
there is quite a few guys coming in. So you know what I think? I think these guys are just past the number for.
But yeah,
a
sure.
Run in the end.
Maybe for fuel, but we're not doing fuel runs. We haven't gotten anywhere near a fuel run in terms of green flag runs tonight. So I don't know. Maybe.
Here's if he's just going to go with gas. Nope, he is digging tires. Yeah, the 3 Ryan Hart's coming in as well.
And it's not like you can just go from here to the... If we get another caution, you're going to pit again. So I don't know if I mean, he was leading the race. We'll see. I could be one that's in the wrong here, but I am not confident that was the right move to make. Regardless of whether or not you can make it on fuel, you're not going to go the fuel run. I mean, this race has only gotten more aggressive as we've gone on. We'll give the lead back to the group that has basically been up front all night, with the notable exception of the 33 and 3, who are now aboard P17 and P14. But Hartz is going to drop to the tail here with that EOL. Track temp's fallen a couple of degrees, made it a little bit cooler out there. Not a lot of not a lot of rubber down on the racetrack from what I can tell. It looks like a pretty green racetrack. Not a lot of marbles being picked up.
Yeah, I think that's with how much everyone's been kind of spread out across track. I haven't seen we've seen mostly they've been running around the bottom middle lane, but also a couple of guys running on the top. That could be partially due to why there's so much even wear.
And then back down again, topping off with fuel again, perhaps, but I don't think that's going to matter.
I hear Cameron Hearn turning the engine on and off as well, and a couple other guys turning their trucks on and off, trying to save some gas. So I think we are on that limit.
Yeah, I mean, prepping for a run, I think is fine. I just wouldn't have based my entire strategy on this race going green to the end. I'm not confident that's going to be the case, but maybe. Been wrong before. That is true.
Well, this reason we're in the commentary booth, not on the pit box.
Yeah, I got lucky with my pit box call. The only one I've made in the last 2 years. So. Field doubles up again. Skyley goes on the bottom. He's got Hearn behind him. To the outside will be Brad Slaughter Jr. and Matthew Bell. Derek Grant having a really good night when it matters. Remember, he came into the night 7th in the standings, just a couple above the cut line. And he's been in the top 5 all night long. And again, being 5th, if the top 4 are also playoff competitors, isn't going to be good enough come Richmond. But right now, with the issues that the other playoff competitors have had, it's not all that bad.
He's going to gain quite a few points on guys like Travis Beckner, and at the moment, Eric Wineland, who's all the way down the order. And Ryan Hartz. So it's looking good in that respect, but still got quite a bit of racing left to go. We'll see how raced they are going to be here as the pace truck dives off.
Back to the restart, lap number 57 of 90. Again, this race will go by very quickly if it's green to the end. Green flag back in the air. Good start for Scioli. Look at Weishart popping out. He's going to try to maybe rip that high lane. The 21 in the background. Looking to gain some spots here on the restart, but it takes these trucks a while to get up to speed. But let me tell you, they're going to be 3-4 wide again mid-corner. Look at that.
Already 4 wide. Ooh, Logan Harmon a little bit sideways in the middle of the field.
Oh, boy.
Oh, and Reinhardt's almost down below the white line trying to make some moves, just get around the traffic in the back of the field.
16 truck was real slow out of turn 2. I think he might have gotten in the wall. While up front, Scioli, Hearn, now Slaughter Jr. and Bell battle for third. Danny Ware creeping into the picture in that orange 00 runs 7th.
Haven't talked a whole lot of the 00. You started in 17th tonight, up 10 spots, so now it's starting to make some noise in the later half of the race. Oh, and how about Travis Beckner? He's up in 12th place, and looking at the truck, it doesn't look like it belongs in 12th place at the moment.
No, it's seen both ends shortened up pretty significantly. That nose has been repaired reasonably well, but again, he's going to need some more help because even where he's at is going to be a drop in the standings, a couple of points. So we'll keep an eye on him throughout the rest of the night. But he really needs to have one of those Travis Beckner miracles where he just appears out of nowhere at the end after running not very well for most of the race. And he has had a handful of those, don't get me wrong. Mr. Where did he come from this season? Look at Matthew Bell.
Yeah, gets a great run off turn 2 now, looking to the inside of Scully on the back straightaway. Going to have a drag race with the 7. Into turn 3, going to try to dive it down low. This could be Bell's first taste of the lead all night if he can hang on. Still side by side with the 7, not quite clear. He's going to force himself to go, but gets sideways out of turn 4 and will lose the run.
Yeah, he was fighting loose there all the turn 4, and that's going to give up not one spot, but maybe 2, maybe 3 with Brad Slaughter Jr.'s big run here down on the front straightaway. Not close enough to make a move. Bell hangs on to the quarter panel of the 67. He'll go off into turn 1, door-to-door with Hearn.
Yeah, Reinhardt's up into 14th. Had an interesting run. Was 3 wide off of turn 4 after Shane Addy got loose and forced quite a few drivers 3 wide.
Eric Wineland still is 20th right now. And I would say in a little bit of a danger zone with all this stuff going on around him, but has a couple lap fresher tires and not an insignificant amount more fuel than everyone else on the racetrack. 30 laps to go this time through.
Yeah, I think, again, if this does go green all the way, if some guys are short, he is looking good, but again, that is betting a lot on this race going green all the way because we've not had too many long green flag runs. I think the longest we had was the first one up to lap 20, if I'm not mistaken.
5 big slide there from Hurley out of turn 2. Got past Brad Slaughter Jr., but then slid up in the middle of the corner. He actually carried okay speed onto the backstretch, and Alex Weaver putting some pressure on Grant and Slaughter Jr. now.
Yeah, and Hurley's been making some really good passes. He just made up about 5 spots in the last 2 laps, so he's been making good runs to the front. That being said, getting loose off turn 4, Garrett Grant trying to rocket around the outside into 4th.
Knocked a couple sparks off the wall. Eric Wineland clears a couple trucks.
Caution.
Up to 17th and the 51. Nope, it's the 55 of Jeff No. There goes that long green flag run idea that we had.
Oh, Jeff No had a fun ride.
To the inside of Bobby Tinch. And he gets, Jeff Ryan. Wow. Indeed he did.
And it's good.
Man, I forgot how, we haven't really done a lot of old damage model vehicles in general, and it just reminds me how bad it was. Dead stop. That's the Geico restop zone. I want to see how fast he's,
3 points avoided.
So while we got a moment, again, I don't think we're going to see a lot of, we might see, actually we should go back live. I want to see if anyone else is going to pit.
I feel like we might see the leaders.
They have 12 laps on their stuff. What do you do? This has just been a tough race, from a strategy perspective. There's too much tire wear to just ignore it. You can't have
because there is honestly, when the looks of it, it seems like there's a decent chance to go green because all the wrecks have been near the back of the field. They've not been in the front of the field where people are wrecking. Where people are racing. So they've been kind of randomly happening in the back of the field. So there's a chance we could go green in the end. So do you want to get your fuel, all the fuel you need in, and then just not have to worry about it? And it looks like Scully is late. exit commitment for him.
Anybody pit? It looks like Jordan Hurl. Nope.
Cameron Hearn. Cameron Hearn.
Jeffrey Wilson and a Sogak. Cameron Hearn pit. So a little bit of a split strategy here. It's going to make it even harder for us to keep up with it. Quick update on those that were involved in that previous yellow. That was David Weishart and the 3. Ryan Hartz is now P11, David Weishart P9. So they're going to restart nose to tail as they were when that caution came out, conveniently.
Yeah, I don't think any hurt feelings between the two. I'm sure Weishart's understandable of how chaotic that restart was. Not really anything the 3 could have done better.
Going back a little earlier in the night, let's go back through a couple of the moments that we saw this evening. 25 in the wall there on the front straightaway. That was a big moment. And there was this one, Justin Munsell and the 45, a Seidenfeiden get together. Was on corner exit here out of turn 4. 45 gets turned, collects Munsell down the racetrack. He went. And a little bit later in the night, here's Eric Wineland having some issues off with the 46 truck.
A little bit of a drift there in turn 3. He was able to hang on and save it.
And the 28 of Travis Beckner. He had a bit of a racing situation down here heading into turn 3 with the 99 of Tommy Ryan. The 19 Swan gets turned around. Wineland narrowly misses, well, got sort of involved in that one. Then there was this down the back straightaway. Matthew Bell going off into turn 3. I don't know what I flagged this one for. I think this was maybe for corner exit here. Slotting in front of the 16.
Thing was Tom Bourne hitting the wall, I think.
Maybe. Nope, definitely not. Cody Cartwright, though, he went for a pretty wild ride right here on the front straightaway. Tumbling and
first
turning.
truck, not the only truck to go flying up into the wall. And then also looking at this contact between Hartman and Ryan.
And then most recently, 33 and the 3 getting together into turn 3. He was on the apron there, slipping and sliding, and 3 just didn't quite lift enough for the stewards to let him go with that one. And then just now, the caution that brought this situation out was the 55, getting turned up into the wall, kind of coming across the nose of the 37, and took out the 55. He is done for the day. Big attrition race tonight. We've lost 6, 7, 8 trucks? 7 trucks.
Yes.
A lot of trucks. Crash damage. We're now down to 25 laps to go at the restart.
Yeah, quite a few different pit strategies going on as well on top of the mess. Quite a few guys, everyone down from 17th coming into pit, notably Cameron Hearn, Justin Sogak coming in. And we also had a few guys that came in before that. Ryan Hartz, Tom Bourne, AJ Roderick, Eric Wineland came in the stop before. Everyone else is getting to pit, and they may or may not have to pit. I would want to think that they do have to pit with 25 to go, but we'll see.
We will see. Scioli in command, 25 laps left in the first race of the round of 8. Big stack up on the outside.
Oh, almost wrecking Travis Beckner. All sorts of sideways will save it as they go 3 and 4 wide on the restart. 5 wide, they're going to spin down into the apron.
And the 85, what is it with the 5 wide sports trucks being up on their side today? The 18 is sideways. We'll mark that, come back to it later. Pace truck just getting back to his stall. Here comes Garrett Grant for the lead into turn 3.
This restart has been all sorts of hectic. Here comes the 46 taking advantage of the chaos. Trying to take that lead away from James Scioli. Will slide in front of the 7 and will clear him.
Just barely. The 7's going to cross him over to the bottom.
But it'll be Garrett Grant that will lead at the line. 1 key bonus point for the 46 for leading a lap to his name.
33 and the 3 are back in this mix. 6th and 8th as it stands. And coming quick on the bottom. Smoke out of turn 2. What's going on there?
I don't know. There's been a lot of things going on all over the racetrack. Oh, Colin Fambro's he's got his vehicle smoking on the apron. He's always smoking 3 and 4.
So Scioli leads. Garrett Grant runs second. Scioli has really been the dominant force tonight when it comes to laps led. He has led 45 of the 67 laps that we have completed. And while we've got, I think, a moment, let's go back and see what happened here down in turn number 1. This was the issue that you were pointing out just off camera.
Yeah, you see them almost go 6 wide for a brief second there, and that's really what caused it, because there's just not enough room on the track for everyone. And it was really caused by just a poor start on the outside lane. Travis Beckner getting hooked, and Beckner did a great job of saving himself, not getting spun out.
Yeah, he did end up 15th after all that, as we got the battle for second on here between the 8 and the 46. But he kept the truck straight, and Beckner could have thrown away the playoffs a couple of times tonight, and he's managed to rally through all of it.
Yeah, despite severe damage to that truck, he's just holding on for dear life, just hoping for a decent finish at the moment. So far, so good, all things considered. As you mentioned, that battle for second place still brewing. Skyway back in the lead. Garrett Grant trying to take that lead back.
Down the back straightaway and into turn 3. Slaughter Jr. on the bottom. He was the pick for Hunter Sleppy to win this race. He's winless so far this season. Is still in a playoff spot. Came into the night 4th above the cut line. And with a top 5 result tonight, he would certainly keep a spot in that top 4. But a guy like Garrett Grant could use a win.
Oh, I'm sure Garrett Grant's going to try to do everything he can to make sure he wins this race, or at the very least, the best thing for him is to make sure his other playoff competitors don't win the race.
Now, last night we saw a non-playoff competitor wreck a playoff competitor. That was controversial. What might not be so controversial is that a playoff competitor driving into the back of someone who's got nothing to lose at this stage. That's Scioli eliminated, and that might mean that someone might use him up here towards the end of this race, because there's no championship on the line for the 7.
Yeah, I don't think obviously that was intentional.
No,
there. I think it was
I'm just saying,
give a little slipstream.
Neither was last night's incident, so we'll keep that in mind. Here's the 46 to the top, and the 9 topper up by half a lane.
And Grant trying to push the buttons of the 7, see what he can do. If he can get a great run off turn 2, indeed he will. Now looks to the inside, almost doors the 7, trying to get some side draft.
9 scraped the wall on the entrance to 3. Grant just needs to clear the 7 and not slide across the nose in such a way that'll let Scioli cross over. He's loose out of 4, and Scioli goes back to the bottom. He is just so good tonight in that 7 truck.
Yeah, he's been doing a really, really solid job fighting and keeping that truck up in front. I mean, he's the reason he's led over half the laps tonight. Definitely the man to beat out there.
19 laps to go, and they will tick down quickly at this stage. Eric Wineland back up to 12th, but look at all the blue ahead of him on the timing and scoring. It might not be enough without some more cautions and some more chaos.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not doing terrible, but his competitors are with the exception of Beckner, are all doing better than him. So he is going to have to try to step it up or hope for things to go awry near the front.
Remember, he came in 8th, last in the playoff grid, well below the cut line. So he really needed to do either better than his competitors or just straight up win to make things easy. And you do not want to head into Richmond in a must-win scenario, especially at a short track where people will be even less worried to rough you up and put you out of the groove.
Brad Slaughter Jr. rocking around the 9 of Matthew Bell will take that 3rd place spot away, and now David Weishart getting a great run on the back straight well past the 9.
Weishart was turned around on the apron not that long ago, and he's rallying here for a top 5 and maybe a win. Weishart is the leader in the points and has not a safe margin, but a margin. Doesn't need to win either this week or next, but just needs to have decent results. Here comes the 8 of Brad Slaughter Jr. kicked out to the side on the 46 and to the bottom in 1.
And going to try to ride in behind the number 7 to see, but Garrett Grant's going to potentially get a run off the corner. So does David Weishart. Gets a great run, nowhere to go at the moment for him.
Matthew Bell watching these drivers battle out the windshield. Does anybody save tire for a run to the end here? Does anybody lay back? Does it have the same effect? We're already seeing drivers about 8/10 off their best lap, about 20 laps into this run.
Ooh, Weiland's looking pretty good at the moment. I was just watching him. The last lap was actually one of the fastest guys last lap through. catching up. He's up into 11th, has 10th to go, and then he'll catch up to this leading pack. So that 21 maybe something to keep an eye on. Might not be out of the picture just yet.
What about the 67 at Cameron Hearn? He just put tires on the truck. They are 13 laps newer than everybody else, and he's just approaching this pack, fighting Ryan Hartz for P6. Is that 67 going to get his first win on the season? He's also eliminated from the playoffs, but look at him join the party.
Yeah, joining the party, not caring that he's not necessarily part of the playoff picture, but he doesn't really care. He's just trying to get some wins at this point. He's going to slide himself in front of the three of Ryan Hartz and will clear himself for 6th place.
15 laps remaining. And look at how he can just turn in and turn down to the bottom. No one else can do that. He's just going to drive right by the 9 and right by the 33 here on exit if he gets held up at all. That 67 is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I wonder how much Scioli knows about that maneuver from the 67, whether or not even Hearn was even on the radar.
Probably not, but he's definitely on the radar now, and so is Brad Slaughter, at least for the lead. Trying to go to the inside of Garrett Grain in the 46. That run off the corner is going to potentially kill him, though.
Scioli watching all this in the mirror, these two door to door. They're still able to gain on the straightaways. That powerful draft that drivers have been utilizing all night long. The 8s to the quarter panel. And Hearn pulls even with Weishart.
Close fought battles amongst the top, top 8?
Oh, wow, the 67 pulled right across the nose of the 33 and now is in the mix for the top 3 spots. The 67 on much fresher tires, carving through the field.
And now he's caught up to the front, though. It's going to be tough to do because not a whole lot of slipstream to work with. He's just going to have to work on just pure tire, pure attack on the corners. I mean, obviously, Kern's in the best spot. Freshest tires out of anyone.
Into turn 1, and he's going to go high. Look at the speed he's going to carry here on entry. To the outside of Garrett Grant. Here comes the 67 of Cameron Hearn.
Right off the corner. I don't think he's going to quite be able to go to the inside of Slaughter. We'll have to stay in behind the 8th, but we'll be up in the 3rd.
Oh, behind him, the 33 of Weishart's in the wall.
Yeah, it's going to slow him down. He's going to get passed by Jordan Hurley and potentially Danny Ware. He'll go back to 9th place.
Most notably, it's going to separate out some of that group. The Ryan Hartz will have a look at Matthew Bell, but it allows Cameron Hearn to have a bit more room to maneuver around the 8 and the 7. He's got better tires. He's got 12 laps to get it done. The 7 just sent it off into turn 1. You see how deep he drove off in there?
Yeah, he's trying his best. I'm just curious now if he's going to be pushing his stuff too hard. We talked about tire saving a little bit a few laps ago. Not really a whole lot of chance to save your tires at this point. You're just going to be pushing as hard as you can with the laps winding down.
Everyone kind of bottom feeding now. Wineland gaining on David Weishart, but he's got a long way to go. He might be doomed to only be about P10 unless things get spicy up front. 11 laps left.
Aaron's trying to stall out a little bit, was looking to the inside of Slaughter on the straightaway, couldn't get that run there. He's going to back up the corner, though, going to try to exit a little bit lower and see if he can get the run on the 8. Should be able to this time. Doesn't go for it.
Going to push him.
Whoa.
Big run for the 8. Look at the size of the run he got.
Yeah, Hearn almost got himself loose and into the wall with such a big shove.
But he wanted to maybe compromise the 7 by having the 8 go side by side. So they're going to side draft each other. It'll open up the door for the 67. Here he comes. That was a big brain move. He's going to push the 8 now by the 7.
Trying to slow down potentially his biggest competitor, the number 7, and they're going to bum draft down the front straightaway. And he's going to send off Slaughter with a little bit too much speed. Maybe have a look to the inside. No, Slaughter's able to block the inside.
That was excellent strategy there by Hearn to push the 8 to attack the 7 and then open up the 7 vulnerability. He's now drag racing the guy that has been the fastest.
Grant turn into the wall and turn on the back straightaway. Cart's involved. Heavy contact as they spin onto the apron. No caution.
Oh, that is catastrophic for 2 of our playoff competitors. Ryan Hartz's truck is junked. 10 laps to go, coming to 9 laps to go. Slaughter Jr. defending from Cameron Hearn. There's the caution. More trouble out of turn 4, or maybe just for the slow-moving Hartz and 46 truck. All right, well, that's going to set up some chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Here is a look at it. Matthew Bell in the 46 gives a shot and just a badly timed bump, and then pow. Ryan Hart's just a victim, and then that impact could be playoff destroying. How do you rebound from this, Finian? This is a critical moment in the season for the number 3.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing you can do to rebound from that. You just kind of try to see if you can fix it up as much as possible and get back out on the track. Hope things are worse for more drivers out there, but man, heavy contact.
Yeah, Garrett Grant got away with a lot there, I think. The 3 of Ryan Hart's, he's almost certainly going to have some engine damage after that one. That is a helpless feeling. That is like the perfect slide you just can't get out of. You can't spin the truck around more. You can't unspin it. Wow. Hearn stays out on the racetrack with Ryan Swan. Everybody else pits.
Interesting. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised you didn't pit. I know we don't have too many laps to go, but as we've seen by quite a few restarts, if you've got older tires, you're going to kind of want to come down pit lane.
Here's what the 67 is banking on, he's banking on it being yellows to the end. I don't think that's how this race is going to go. The restarts,
no, we don't have enough trucks.
Well, we don't have enough trucks, and it takes a while for these things to wind up. It's not like a short track where you're instantly going to get trucks getting together. It's going to take them a lap or two, and that's all that you're going to need to get to the white flag. So that's going to be a
race off pit lane was the closest. A heat between Scioli and then Weishart, Brad Slaughter, and I heard some contact in behind as well.
So Scioli is in the catbird seat here, starting inside row 2. Brad
Eric Wineland and Jordan Martin, right sides only.
Man. And Eric Wineland, I like this call because he was 10th before and would have come out 12th out of the pits and would have probably been involved in a wreck. So I like the track position play here, but not to the extent that the 67 did.
Yeah, no, I think if you're going to take tires, I think it is better just go with 2. I don't think we're going to have a long enough of a run where the left sides are going to really matter that much. Well, yeah, I think Hearn and for the most part even Ryan Swan are going to be risking it too much. Why is Wineland coming back down pit? What? I don't.
What was that all about?
I don't know. I am confusion.
For
I got no note for this.
Oh man, I thought I knew what he was playing, but now I don't.
Nah. He took the lefts.
Just now?
Yeah, he just didn't know he lefts.
Maybe he didn't intend on taking 2, but even then,
but why would you risk so much track position?
Well, he's going to want as many restarts as possible. The problem is
he's got to hope for like the entire top 10 to just wad themselves up.
Yeah, so here's the situation now. Remember our green-white checkered rules that we will get 1 attempt at a green-white checkered. That any green-white checkered is any caution that will extend the length of the race. If we have a green-white checkered in which the length does not extend, we can still get another caution. Cautions are so short here that if we get one on the initial restart this time through, we can likely get another one before, and then that'll probably be our green-white checkered. So we could have as many as 3 yellows. Even that might be a stretch for Wineland to get the opportunity to carve his way forward. 6 laps remain in the 15th round of the Area Truck Series season. The round of 8 still being contested. There are only 3 playoff competitors in the top 10 right now. 3 in the top 14. Where are they all? Battling from the back. Green flag in the 7 to the bottom.
Yeah, Ryan Swan moved immediately to the, I think was trying to get out of the way. It seems either that or you're struggling to get up to speed. It's a drag race from Cameron Hearn. Brad Slaughter Jr. Brad Slaughter with his fresher tires should be no
behind
contest.
him, Tommy Ryan sideways. So is the 9 of Matthew Bell. Can he save it?
Does he save it?
Oh, yes.
No caution.
Down the back straightaway now. Look, the field is totally fragmented because of that. Brad Slaughter Jr.'s in the catbird seat. Here comes Hearn, though, battling back with 21-lap-old tires.
I was going to say, this means it's going to be even less of a chance.
No.
It's going to be less of a chance of a caution coming out here, unless they wreck here. 3 wide coming out of turn 4.
Oh, there they go. The 12 or the 66 in the background pancakes the wall hard. Bobby Tinch, he keeps it straight, but that is going to be catastrophic damage. We're still 3 wide for the lead.
Huge amount of attrition, but no caution yet to fly. They're still racing for the lead hard. Cameron Hearn doing everything he can to hold on to the lead. He's being pincer attacked with Brad Slaughter and Scully squeezing him out. They will get on past. Here comes Jordan Hurley now with a run.
Yeah, where did he come from? He's a playoff competitor in the mix. Going to give a shot to the 7 down the back straightaway. And Brad Slaughter Jr. trying to lock himself in to the last round of the playoffs at Nashville. If he can hold off the number 7, Scioli to the bottom in 3 and 4. They're battling behind. Look at Weishart, Hearn, Jordan Martin's in this mix. 4 laps to go this time through.
They're catching up to Ryan Hartz, who's a lap truck. He's going to pull off to the apron to avoid these guys.
Brad's going to
race on by him.
He's going to stick to the high side. He's going to get cleared here, but he's going to hope that the run is good enough on corner exit. The 7's going to slide up. The 8's going to have a huge run, and he can't waste this. He's going to have to drive to the bottom.
There he goes with the run. Can he hold it? He'll get past the 7 by turn 3. Question is, how is Scioli going to rebound on this?
Well, he's got Hurley to his inside, so he can't cross over the 8 as effectively as he'd like. He's almost clear. David Weishart creeps back up into the mix. 3 laps to go from Fontana.
An aggressive check. There goes Scully back down to the bottom. Slaughter trying to hold them off, but Scully will lead them down. Hurley now lined up on the inside lane. Weishart lined up on the top lane.
Good run here for the 8, though, mid-corner. Oh, he's loose. He lost it. Will Weishart give him a shove?
Yeah, Slaughter got loose because he's trying to turn down to get on the inside of Scully. Now actually looks to the outside in 3 and 4.
Scioli using that bottom lane. He's done that effectively all night long. 2 laps remain. It's 4 miles. It's a long way around, but 1 more lap until we pick up that white flag. And James Scioli sizing up his 3rd win on the season, but for what? The championship has already gone out of vision. For Brad Slaughter, it's still very real. He could lock himself into the season finale with a run to the outside. If he could get by the 7, he could be entering the championship 4.
How about Tom Bourne back in this? He's in 3rd place side by side with David Weiss. We haven't talked about him since he was making moves. As we see the leaders side by side, here comes Slaughter with the run to the inside of Scully. Will clear by 3 and 4, but is this all part of the 7's plan to get a great run on the straightaway? Here
he comes. Scioli's got a big run. Can Brad Slaughter Jr. throw the block here? He's going to try it. Scioli drops to the bottom. White flag in the air. 2 miles left. 1 lap to go at Fontana.
Oh, Slaughter, is he going to give him a room? He'll have to give him a room.
The 16 goes around, spins into turn 1. We're still green. Here comes the 8 now to the high side of the 7.
Here they come. What's Slaughter going to do now? A little bit of separation. Danny Ware now in 3rd place and behind them, but there's a gap.
Door to door down the back straightaway. One driver fighting for his 3rd win on the season. The other looking for his 1st, but a way to lock himself into the championship 4 through 3 and 4. Brad Slaughter Jr. is trying the high side. Is it going to work, though? Scioli clears him. Coming back to the checkers. Drafting to the start-finish line. Checkered flag waves. James Scioli hangs on in dominant fashion and wins at Fontana.
Solid job there. I'm kind of amazed we finished that under green, although we had a lot of wrecks. So can you really call it a clean run to the end? I don't think so.
Brad Slaughter Jr., I think he made a mistake. And that mistake was going high in 3 and 4. I think the bottom, just diving under and sliding on the 8 might have, or the 7.
If they had older tires, I think his run on the outside would have worked, but these guys, their tires are too fresh. It was too easy to keep the inside lane hooked up and tucked up, and that's exactly what Scully was planning on and hoping for, and he had the exact run he needed to the end.
James Scioli is not in the playoffs, but he will be celebrating tonight. We'll go through your full race results, update you on your playoff competitors, but I can tell you it's going to be an interesting points to go over after tonight. There's been a lot of shuffling, I can assure you that. California dreaming for James Scioli. Here's a look at your race results. Top of the board, of course, that number 7, Brad Slaughter Jr., 1 spot shy. We only had 3 playoff competitors in the top 14 with about 5 laps to go, but they somehow snuck in there. 5 take the top 10 positions, but a lot more drama to this one towards the end than I think we were expecting. David Weishart came in as the points leader. He will likely leave as the points leader as well. Rebounds nicely. Jordan Hurley, a fantastic run. P5, Eric Wineland. Fitting that's going to be a pretty crucial recovery. P7 in the number 21. Then Cameron Hearn, Jeff Ryan, and Garrett Grant was running better earlier, but still should be able to salvage that 10th place for a pretty decent result in the points. We'll need some more next week at Richmond, though, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly, kind of amazed that worked out for Eric Wineland. In a way, that kind of did, because he was just out of traffic and out of harm's way. He was able to avoid all the incidents, keep the truck clean to the end. Then you see Anna Sogak, Weir, Abby, Ryan Bourne, and then finally your next playoff contenders, Travis Beckner, Matthew Bell, Ryan Hart's, all pretty abysmal nights coming out of tonight compared to their competitors. They're putting themselves further into a hole, especially the guys that were closer to the cutoff line.
Yeah, Travis Beckner, again, came in 3rd in the standings, and Ryan Hartz was 2nd. They're both going to drop down probably out of those positions. Logan Hartman, Roderick, Fambro, Wilson, and No, all with some big-time damage, and we're going to cycle through one more time to pick up the last group there. Everyone down to Seidenfeiden and Munsell, big-time damage and crash out of this one. We're going to talk to our top 3. First one up is going to be Danny Ware, the driver of the number 00 truck. Nice orange paint scheme on the truck tonight. Danny, P3 in the wild results there at the end. Late race restarts, drivers going for playoff spots, drivers not going for playoff spots. You were kind of in the middle of all of it, but you came home 3rd, so you have to be pretty thrilled with that.
Yeah, I just tried to survive. I honestly thought I was going to get wrecked halfway through the race, just the way my luck's been going this season, but I don't know, I just held on, and the seas parted for me, and I just ended up 3rd.
So far this season, we've seen a lot of races kind of have this dynamic of having a bunch of yellows. Lately, we've had a lot of green flag racing. Tonight was somewhere in the middle. Towards the end of the race, there was kind of 3 and 4 wide. How do you keep all that straight, especially when you get more than 3 wide? The spotter doesn't tell you that. So how busy are you in the cockpit keeping track of everyone that's around you?
Basically just hold your line and hope everything goes to plan. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, basically trust everybody around you as much as you can, and just basically try to go as fast as you can with people 4 or 5 wide around you. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Well, it doesn't need explanation when you finish 3rd tonight after starting 17th. Danny, congratulations. P3, we'll see you next time. Nice work.
Thank you.
2nd place was Brad Slaughter Jr. A win would have locked him in to the championship 4. He went high in 3 and 4, did you, Brad? But not quite enough to get by James Scioli. He was really the dominant truck tonight, but you were very close. Started on pole, finished 2nd. Take us through your night.
Yeah, just spent most of the race following him around, just trying to save tires. We didn't really get a long enough run for it to matter, but tried to keep rubber on there best I could in case we did go green there. And there at the end, it was just, there was no saving, no lifting, no nothing there. It was just wide open, get everything you can get. And that was a great race with James. There's like maybe 2 or 3 other people in this series that you can race like that with. So shout out to James. That was a lot of fun. That's tough. It's tough to be that close to going to Nashville, being locked into the next round. I wanted that one pretty bad. I've been practicing my butt off trying to get that one, so that sucks. But 2nd's not bad. I think it still puts us in a pretty decent situation points wise. Just didn't want to have to worry about anything going to Richmond, but we'll go to Richmond, we'll fight.
All right, Brad Slaughter Jr. 2nd tonight at Fontana. Brad, we'll see you next week at Richmond. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
And last but not least is going to be James Scioli, who found his 3rd win on the season tonight. No championship on the horizon for you, James, after that, but a victory, the 3rd one of the year. That's got to feel pretty good. I know there's not much left on the line there because of the elimination last week, but led the most laps, kind of dominated this one, and held off a hard-charging Brad Slaughter Jr. to win this one. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, just bummed that I had to miss that one race in the first round. Definitely hurt. This would have obviously punched our ticket, so definitely a tough pill to swallow there. But that race was a blast, trading the lead back and forth with a bunch of different guys, throwing slide jobs, and just side drafting. It was a lot of fun to race. Hopefully it was a lot of fun to watch. It's tough racing teammates like that, because obviously Brad's still in the playoffs looking for a win to punch his ticket, so it's hard it's hard to be the guy to race him like that, but I'm still going for wins. It's been forever since I got one in here, so I'm glad about that. And yeah, just had a blast. That was a fun race.
Yeah, I believe your last win was January 3rd, so quite a while ago. That was back at New Hampshire. So good to get a win. And your finishes lately, 6th at Talladega, 7th at Las Vegas. You were due for one, but the 21st at Michigan didn't do you a whole lot of favors. But P1 tonight, you got it done. And congratulations, James. I know next week in Nashville, you're still doing the same, going for wins, but best of luck to you there. We'll see you.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and big shout out to you guys in the booth for capturing these fun races. This one was definitely a candidate for one of the best of the year, so appreciate you guys for getting the captures of that, and then the admin team for everything they do, Jacob Bell and DWR Sci-Fi. I know they're still second, third in the points, so that's good. And then Butt Kicker, Dandles Candles, Matco Tools, all for being on the truck all year, and we'll go for another one here on Thursday.
All right, going for number 4 next week in the season, going for another win in the Lodgebox Series Thursday night. We'll see you, James. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Finian, 4 drivers now have 3 wins on the season. Beckner, Hartz, Weishart, and now James Scioli. But again, James is the only one of those not competing for a championship. The points have been updated, and it looks like your top 4 is Weishart, Hartz, Beckner, and Brad Slaughter Jr. The way things panned out, looked like Hurley, Matthew Bell, Garrett Grant, and Eric Wineland are all still below the cut line. The only change was Jordan Hurley and Matthew Bell. After all that, the drivers above it and below it remain the same.
Yeah, and there is a decent also thing, too, is that Jordan Hurley is now 14 points out from Brad Slaughter. There's a bit of a gap so between the drivers in 4th and 5th, and then they're close all in behind that. So a bit of a buffer for the guys in the front, especially Weishart. Yeah, you could say he's almost all but locked in heading into next week. Though the guys on the outside, there's not as good of a chance as they would probably like going into next week to make themselves in. But if there is, catastrophic night for guys like Slaughter, Beckner, or Hartz, they could potentially find themselves in. We'll have to see, though.
It'll be a wild one. Next Tuesday will be the last race of the round of 8. And that's where we'll do our eliminations. So a little bit of shuffling, but a bigger gap, a bigger crack in the surface for those trying to hunt down that championship. We'll see you for the Area Lodgebox Series on Thursday. But before we go, fans, be sure to check out areaiRacing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. Use code SWAN for 10% off your order at checkout. That'll do it for us tonight. We'll see you Thursday for the Area Lodgebox Series. Kyle Heyer, Vinny Lacuna bringing you the action. We'll see you there.